Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and yet another beginner series tutorial. In today's lesson, we're going to look into variables and booleans so we can create the proper ammo system for our newly created Cannonball Launcher. With all that being said, let's get right into it. But before we start, let's quickly go over what are variables in Unreal Engine. Imagine variables are similar to little containers. Each variable has a unique name, and each variable contains a certain type of data. So imagine we have a little container that has an ammo name typed onto it, and we have a value of 20 stored inside of that container, and that is going to be the variable we're going to create and use in today's lesson. So again, let's open up our level blueprint. And in our previous lessons, all we have been working on is the event graph, but today we're going to open up a new window called My Blueprint. And in here on the left, you can see we have the event graph easily accessible, but our focus today is the variable session. So quickly click on the plus sign, and we're going to name our variable name to simply ammo. And here we can choose which type of variable we're going to store. And here on the drop down on the right, we're going to choose which type of variable we're going to store. As you can see, there's boolean type, which we're going to go into later in the video. And there's also float, string, and all types of different variable type. But for our ammo, we're going to select the integer, which is the whole number variable type. And let's move on to the details panel on the right. As you can see, the default value, it's not available. So we have to compile it. Then we will see the ammo default value, it's set to 0 by default. And we just gotta send that number to something like 10. And compile and save. So now we have created the ammo variable which stores whole number, and the default value for it is 10. So how do we access this variable we just created in our event graph? Very simple. We just click and drag the ammo into our event graph, and we give them two options: get ammo and set ammo. The get ammo, it's just a simple pure function that returns the value of the variable itself. In this case, if you print out this ammo variable, all we will get is the default value of 10. As for the set value, it's going to override the current value for the set variable. And there's a faster way to access the variable we just created. Instead of dragging it into the event graph and choose the type, we can just hold down Control and drag, that will get the variable. Hold down Alt and drag, that will set the variable. This is a very useful shortcut, so it's not bad to remember for the future. Now, what we're going to do is very simple. To create an ammo system, we're going to subtract one ammo from the variable every time we fire. So of course, to start, we need to get our ammo variable so we can know the current value. But also we have to set the new value into our variable. So every time when we fire the launcher, we're going to subtract 1 from the current ammo value. So I'm going to drag it out from the getter and type in subtract, and we're gonna plug it in into the setter for the new value, and here I'm just gonna subtract 1. And of course, don't forget the execution pin connection. And just to see if everything is working correctly, I'm going to drag out from the end of the execution pin and type in print, and I'm gonna connect the return value, which is the new ammo value, into our print string node. Now if I hit compile and save, and let's play our level, if you pay attention to the top left, every time I hit space to shoot a new cannonball, the ammo value should go down in the top left. So we went from 10 to 9, 9 to 8, 8 to 7, and we can go all the way down to 0. But here's a catch. Now I have 0 ammo, which is what we implemented, but if I press space again, we still have the cannonball available. And as you can see, the ammo value goes past the 0 value into the negative digits. And that's not what we want. So in order to fix that, we will get into the concept of booleans. Let's move our event graph to the start of our logic, where the spacebar event is located. So ideally, what we want to do is we want to check the current ammo count every time when we press spacebar. And if the value is greater than 0, we will execute through the commands. But if the value is at 0, which means we don't have any ammos left, we should ideally not being able to spawn anymore. So with that being said, what we need is a flow control that will dictate what we're going to do if this happens and what we're going to do if this doesn't happen. So let's right click on the event graph, type in branch, and that's going to be the first option. And here you can see branch, it's a very simple node. It's similar to if statement if you're familiar with any other programming language. It has execution pin, but it also has two different execution pin on the return side. If the condition is true, we will execute the top pin. If the condition is not true, then the bottom pin will be executed. We're going to connect the spacebar to the branch, and we're going to connect the true execution pin into our spawn actor node. And right now we don't have any other conditions, and it's just checked to true at all times. So if we compile and save and play this, nothing will happen. It's just gonna stay the same because this is true at all stages. So now all we have to do is check the ammo count, and if it's greater than 0. I'm going to hold down Control and drag in the ammo. I'm gonna type in greater, and I'm just gonna connect the return value to our branch node. When we press the spacebar, ideally we will check the ammo count, and if it's only greater than 0, we will execute the true branch. And now just for debugging purposes, I'm going to move these nodes down a little bit. I'm going to continue on from the false branch, type in print string, and maybe I will type in something like out of ammo. Please reload. So that we know we're actually out of ammo. And obviously in a real game, you're going to implement some kind of UI system to display it to the player. Compile, save, and hit the play. And pay attention to the top left. I'm going to fire up a lot of cannonball. And now that we reach 0 count, I press the spacebar again and it says out of ammo, please reload. No matter how many times I press spacebar, that's all I'm going to get because we're indeed out of ammo. So today's lesson might not be the most difficult one, but it's probably one of the most important lessons you're going to learn. The concept of variable if statement, aka branch statement in Unreal Engine, it's very important concepts to get used to. You're going to see this time and time again in your future game development journey. So please, if you have the time, maybe create a different weapon that will spawn a different object similar to our cannonball, and set up a completely brand new ammo system for that weapon that you have created from the ground up. Because at the end of the day, no matter how many times you follow the video step by step, you're always going to remember it better if you did it yourself from the start. I'm looking forward to see you guys in our next lecture, which will go into another very important concept, functions. Now, if you're new to the channel and you liked what we're creating here, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any future content. If you have any suggestion or advice that you would like to give me, please don't hesitate and leave a comment down below. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.